Today's going to be a short one, but if you can grasp this concept, it should be able to make a major difference in your business life, in your personal relationships, but most importantly, really bring your stress levels down. We're going to talk about the pressure of perfectionism, the stress to always be right, to always be on your game and have everything sorted. Now, this applies to us all, but I see it as people go further up the managerial or leadership ladder, but it applies equally to parenting, to relationships, even to how we deal with our friends. You see, when we find ourselves in a position of authority or leadership, we feel a responsibility to be perfect, to always have all the answers. And what I want to talk about today is how faked perfection is a bad thing, but authentic vulnerability is a really powerful and good thing. First, I'll explain to you what I mean by authentic vulnerability and how to use it in context. Then I'll explain to you why it's so good for your business, for your relationships, and for your health as we bring your stress levels down. We have to understand the difference between weakness and vulnerability. Weakness is what it is. It's a lack of strength, a lack of values, a lack of morals. Whereas vulnerability actually requires courage. For us to turn up and own the fact that we don't have all the answers, that there's a gap in our knowledge or our ability, and that we might need help from others. That takes moral courage and often physical courage. And I'll give you an example of what I mean. When I became a British Army officer, I moved into a completely different department to where I'd been as a soldier. And I found myself in the environment where I was now responsible for the administration of 750 people, including a team of 23 specialists, each of whom knew their job much better than I did. So how could I use authentic vulnerability in that situation without losing my authority? Here's what a typical meeting would sound like when I had my heads of department there. I would say, "Hey folks, I'm going to tell you what I think. Then I'd like you to tell me what you think about what I think. Then I'd like to hear what you think. Then we're going to get together and we're going to make a plan. And then I will decide that we're going to follow that plan. Does anyone have any questions?" So I did it a little bit tongue-in-cheek, made a bit of a joke of it, but everyone in the room was aware. And I say it's the elephant in the room. They knew my experience, and I knew that they knew my experience. And I just got it out there. And the end result of that was that we had many more open conversations. And I feel like we got better results. I also felt like I'd gained their respect, not by being perfect and not trying to bullshit my way through, just hand in the air, guys, I don't know this stuff yet, but I'm going to use your knowledge to educate me. So that's me showing my vulnerability without losing my authority. That's one example of how you can show authentic vulnerability in your business environment. But it would work the same as when you're talking to your kids or talking to your wife. Just say, "Hey, I'm not sure how to do this, but let's discuss it and let's see if we can figure out something together." Generally, those kind of conversations go a lot better. But how can it help us with our stress? I have this theory that stress is a physical tension between our authentic selves and the persona that we feel or we want to put out to the world. And the further these two are apart, this like an elastic band between them, it creates an often chronic stress, literally a stress. And if we're living in that environment in the office, we bring it home. And now we're at home with our family and we're still giving off this negative energy. And it just becomes a devil's circle. And we end up arguing with our partners or with our kids. So that's how you show authentic vulnerability without losing any authority. In my experience, I find people respect you a lot more for that because they see a person who's comfortable in their own skin, who doesn't act like they know everything, a certain arrogance about them. And it makes us more human. And the things humans love most is other humans being human. So that's how you can use vulnerability authentically to lower your stress levels. And I'll remind you of my little model where the authentic you and your public you, the closer you can get them to alignment, the less stress you will feel, just in life in general. Okay? I hope that helps. You take care.